Well, hi guys, it's that time. It's our Bible teaching snippet of the day. Yesterday I was talking about that there is a such thing as a spirit of death, okay? And today I'm going to just kind of take a little side trail on talking about spirits and the different ones and my experiences in that. And I'm going to get back on the unclean spirits tomorrow because I want to talk to you some more about that just a little bit because I keep getting questions. But today I want to talk to you about death. And there's a scripture in the Bible that I want to show you and just talk to you about this, okay? I'm over in Luke chapter 12, verses 4 through 7. But now this scripture is also found in Matthew 10:28. And either one of them are fine. I'm just in Luke. And I'm reading out of my expanded Bible. So here we go. And this is in red. This is Jesus. You know, I love to read about Jesus and tell you the things that he said. So here we go. It says, I tell you, my friends, don't be afraid of people who can kill the body, but after that, they can do nothing more to harm you. I will show you and warn you the one to fear. Fear the one who has the authority or power to kill you, and also after killing you, throw you into hell. Yes, this one is the one you should fear. I've always heard this taught that it's saying that we're supposed to fear God. Now this word fear, I'm going to stop here and say this. There's 4 different Greek words in the New Testament for the translated word into English of fear. So there's 4 different Greek words. There's generally 2 meanings to that word. One of the words for fear is just more of a nervous, kind of just a little bit scared, maybe butterflies in your stomach, something like that. But then one of the words means to be terrorized, to be so just frightful, okay? And then, but the other type, so that's a type of fear. But the other fear in the Greek means to have reverence or respect for, okay? This word right here that we're going to read about today means to be terrorized, okay? To be in fear of your life, basically, just from the scripture. So we know this is the type of torment, the fear that he's talking about here. And it's so important that we know the difference, okay? Because sometimes our English Bibles will tell us to fear God when it's actually saying to reverence him and respect him, to stand in awe and amazement at his supernatural mighty works. Not fear of him because he's going to hurt us, okay? And I want to just talk about this scripture today because every time I've ever heard it taught, it's implied that this scripture is talking about God. But today I want to show you where that's probably not true. Here we go. Let's just keep reading because we're going to read this in context. Verse 6, it says, 5 sparrows are sold for only 2 pennies. But God does not forget any of them. And God even knows how many hairs you have on your head. Now watch, it says, do not be afraid. Do not be in fear and don't live in torment. You are worth much more than the sparrows. Okay, so the reason I'm going to read it to you is because Jesus tells people to be not to be afraid of physical harm, because your body isn't the end all, okay? But he does say he's warning us to fear the one that after you're dead, he had the authority to take you to hell. So Jesus is telling us to have a terrorized fear right here, but just a verse down, he says not to be scared of God. So Jesus is not double-minded. Jesus would not tell us to be terrorized and live in fear of God, but then in the very next sentence say, you're more valuable to him than even a little bitty sparrow, so do not be in fear. And I want to show you some scriptures that'll indicate to you who Jesus was talking about. Did you know that Satan, the powers of darkness, had the keys to death and hell, okay, until Jesus died on the cross and resurrected, and Jesus overcome death and became the first of the living. Let me give you some scriptures. I've got to back this up because this is a pretty deep teaching, guys. But I just want you to understand that God does not want you to be scared of him. He wants you to be in awe and respect of him. But he's not asking you to be scared. Remember, I've told you there's a scripture in, I believe it's 2 Timothy, it says, God did not give us a spirit of fear. So right there, we're told there that God does not give us a spirit of fear, and he doesn't want us to be scared of him. But let me go over to Romans chapter 14, verse 9, and read this to you. This is in my Amplified Classic. It says, "For Christ died and lived again for this very purpose, that he might be Lord both over death, over the dead, and the living." Now, I'm going to read it in the Disciples' literal translation. And it says, "For Christ died and came to life for this, that he might be Lord of both, of dead and living ones." So Jesus died and resurrected so that he could be Lord over both. You know, when he was here, he was Lord over the living because he had no sin, okay? But when he died on the cross, he went into hell and took away the keys of death and hell. And watch, I'm going to take you over to, I love this scripture. I just love this, the visual of this. I'm in Revelations chapter 1, verses 17 and 18. And this is John, the one that wrote this, talking about seeing Jesus, the resurrected Lord, in all of his glory and beauty. He says, "And when I saw him, I fell down at his feet like a dead man. He put his right hand, on me and said, 'Do not be afraid.'" See, right there's your word, don't be in fear. "I am the first and the last. I am the one who lives. I was dead. But look, behold, I am alive forever and ever. And I hold the keys to death and the place of the dead called Hades or hell." See, Jesus was telling them this first scripture I read to you today in Luke chapter 12, verses 4 and 5, and over in Matthew 10:28, Jesus was talking to people before he had died and resurrected. And then once he dies and resurrects, he goes and takes even the keys. Look, it says that he has all power and authority in heaven, on earth, and even under the earth. Jesus stripped the enemy of all of his power and authority. And that's why he had to get those keys to death and hell, is so that he could set mankind free from that as well. So guys, that's all I'm going to teach today, and I'm going to hop off of here, and God bless you, and I'll see you again. I may not be on tomorrow because I've got a really, really, really busy day, so it may be Saturday before you see me. But I love you, and I thank you for sharing these Bible teaching snippets. I'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.